It all started on a grey Tuesday at my workbench, fiddling with plasticine. I was searching for inspiration when a photo of Hailey Bieber appeared on my tablet. Her look was simple, clean, fresh, and quietly radiant. In a world of bold makeup, hers was a gentle whisper. It reminded me of polishing a clay model, just bringing out the best of what's already there. I thought, could I, a chap more used to dust and studio lights, try this glazed look? My own face usually looks a bit like a forgotten prop, dusty, tired, and unremarkable. But the idea of a healthy glow intrigued me. Could I pull it off? It felt like a fun experiment. So I decided I'd spend a week trying to master the Hailey Bieber look. A new project, but this time, my own face was the canvas. Would it make me feel different? Maybe not like a model, but perhaps a bit more polished. The thought of me, Nick, looking like a donut made me chuckle. What a cracking idea. Sometimes you need a change, even if it's just for a laugh. And so, the adventure began. I was ready to see what all the fuss was about. Time to get glazed. Before I could start, I had to do my homework. I watched tutorials, read articles, and scribbled notes. The secret? Layers of moisture. Cleanser, toner, serum, moisturizer, and a touch of highlighter or oil. It's not about piling on makeup, but prepping the skin for a healthy sheen. Minimalist makeup, a dab of concealer, brushed up brows, cream blush, and glossy lips. I made a shopping list and headed to the chemist. I found simple, affordable versions of everything I needed. My bag of potions felt like supplies for an expedition. I was excited, ready to transform my face, not just my clay models. The routine sounded simple, but I knew the magic was in the details. Would I end up looking radiant or just a bit odd? Only one way to find out. I was ready to begin. The experiment was officially on. Time to see if I could turn my tired mug into something a bit more glazed. Gromit would be proud. Let's get mixing. The transformation started tomorrow. Wish me luck. Shh. Monday morning. I faced the mirror, bottles lined up like a science experiment. Cleanser, easy, toner, less so. I splashed too much, drenching my pajamas. Serum felt sticky, but I pressed on. The main event moisturizer mixed with highlighter. I went overboard. My face gleamed. More marathon runner than model. I tried blotting but ended up patchy. I finished with a dab of concealer, wild brows, blush and lip balm. All day my reflection startled me, gleaming under the studio lights. My skin felt tacky, and Gromit gave me a look that said, "What have you done?" Day one, not a roaring success. But I wasn't giving up. Every experiment has its mishaps. I'd learned less is more. Tomorrow I'd try a lighter touch. The glazed donut look was trickier than it seemed, but I was determined to get it right. After all, even the best models need a second take. I was ready for round two. Practice makes polished. Onward. Tuesday, I tried again. This time with restraint. Less toner, just a gentle pat. Serum, then moisturizer. Let it sink in. One tiny drop of highlighter, tapped only on cheekbones, nose, and forehead. Suddenly I saw it. A subtle, healthy glow. Not greasy, just right. I finished with a touch of concealer, tidy brows, blush, and balm. I felt comfortable, natural, like myself, but a bit brighter. Gromit gave me a nod of approval over his newspaper. Throughout the day, I forgot I was even wearing anything. My skin felt soft, hydrated, and light. It was a small victory, but it felt good. Day two, success. I was getting the hang of it. The secret was subtlety. Less product, more confidence. I started to enjoy the ritual. Even Gromit seemed impressed. Maybe I could pull this off after all. The glazed look was growing on me. I felt a bit more polished, and that was enough. On to the next challenge. Wednesday's challenge eyebrows. Hailey's are feathery and full, mine, not so much. I tried clear eyebrow gel, brushing them up. They refused, flopping sideways or sticking up in surprise. One brow looked shocked, the other normal. I tried again, but ended up with sticky, unruly brows. The laminated look wasn't happening. I settled for tidy, not trendy. Not every trend works for everyone. My eyebrows have their own personality, and that's fine. I had to laugh at myself. Some things just make you look silly. The adventure continued even if my brows weren't on board. Lesson learned, embrace what you've got. The glazed look isn't about perfection. It's about feeling good in your own skin. Onward, with or without feathery brows. Thursday, I had to venture out. My glazed face meeting the world. I did my routine, skipping the aggressive brow brushing. At the bakery, Martha handed me a croissant and paused. "You look well today, Nick. Got a lovely glow about you." I was stunned. Someone noticed. It wasn't nice makeup. It was "you look well." That's the point of the Hailey Bieber look. Natural, healthy, radiant. I walked to my meeting with new confidence. The glow wasn't just on my skin, it was in my step. The meeting went well. I didn't think about my face once. On the way home, I caught my reflection. Brighter, more put together. Martha's compliment stayed with me. The experiment was working. It wasn't about looking different, but feeling better. Sometimes, a little glow goes a long way. I realized the power of a subtle change. The routine was making a difference. Not just in how I looked, but how I felt. That was the real win. The glazed adventure was paying off. Saturday, my messiest studio day. I did the routine, skin looking better than ever. But could dewy skin survive a day of clay and paint? By lunchtime, my glow had collected dust and a speck of green clay. The pristine look was gone, replaced by a creative mess. My face was a magnet for studio debris. I wiped off the worst, losing some glow with it. By afternoon, I gave up trying to stay polished. I got lost in my work, forgetting about my face. At day's end, I was my usual messy self. But underneath, my skin felt softer and healthier. The routine failed the studio test for looks, but not for care. Some days are for polish, some for creativity, and that's perfectly fine. The glazed look had its place, but so did a bit of mess. Balance, after all, is key. Sunday evening, I reflected on my week-long experiment. It started with awkwardness and ended with confidence. The best part wasn't the makeup, it was the skincare. Taking 5 minutes each morning to care for my face felt like a small kindness. My skin was brighter, less dry, even without products. The highlighter trick was fun, but the real change was in how I saw myself. The routine wasn't about hiding, but enhancing. It made me appreciate my own features. I realized it's easy to neglect yourself when you're busy. This experiment was a reminder to slow down and care for myself. A little polish can change your mood. It's not about changing who you are, but feeling good as you are. I learned that a tiny change can make a big difference, and that's worth celebrating. The adventure was more thoughtful than I expected. I'd recommend it to anyone. Sometimes, a little self-care is the best experiment, and it's surprisingly enjoyable. So will I stick with the Hailey Bieber routine? Not every day. Studio days are for clay and creativity, not glaze. But the skincare? Absolutely. My skin's never felt better. The daily ritual is here to stay. The glow? I'll save it for special occasions. A meeting, a dinner, a day I want to feel extra polished. The highlighter is my new secret weapon. The laminated brows? I'll leave those to the experts. My eyebrows and I have an understanding. This adventure taught me that a little care goes a long way. A bit of mess, a bit of polish, that's balance. Even a chap covered in plasticine can enjoy a bit of glow. And maybe, just maybe, I'll celebrate with a nice bit of cheese. Here's to feeling good, glazed or not.